Thanks for your company. Now, the opposition NDC continues its election 2020 results protest across the country. Today, a number of supporters in the North and Upper East regions have been demonstrating on major streets to protest what they call a flawed election. Let's start off in the Upper East regional capital, Bolgatanga, where NDC supporters burned ties, blocked traffic at a major intersection as they marched in protest of the election 2020 results. The Bolga Division Police Commander has called on the demonstrators to act within the law.
Before I speak, I will allow my divisional commander to say a word before we can proceed. We are here to escort you. So if even you identify someone that you think that you create a problem for us, that is why we are here. They feel they cannot create any problem. We are here in our numbers.
Hello? Hello? We are here because of you, and we are here for your protection. We are not here to come and harm you or do anything untoward towards you. But we will appeal to you that NDC as a party has the right to do demonstration like we are doing today. But we should also know that whilst we have our rights, others also have their rights. So we will appeal to you that as we move on the road, please remain guided by the instructions of your executives and the police leadership, so that we don't also go against the right of other road users. You know, as we move on, vehicles will also be passing, so we have to move in such a way that they can also go to their various places. If we want to burn tie or whatever it is, it should be done in an open place like a park. Like this, not on the road. Because on the road, the road was built by your own money. And when you do that, you can also cause fire to some other vehicles which belong to equally people like your group. So please, let us go by.
So you heard the Upper West Division Commander advising the protesters that we know the tires were burnt. Correspondent Albert joins us live with more. Hello, Albert. We understand there was a scuffle and the police had to come to the rescue of one gentleman. Give us details about that.
They already have me.
Hello, Albert.
Hello, Venice.
Yes, I'm saying that I understand there was a scuffle during that protest in the Upper East region, and then the police had to intervene. Tell us more about that.
Yes, so just before the march through the principal streets of Bolga began, we realized that some of the demonstrators were moving towards a certain guy. There was a bit of some pandemonium going on, so we moved closer to see what was happening. We realized a group of them were beating up a gentleman whom we later realized they were accusing of being sent by the MPP to come and spy on them. So, you know, he was running away. They ran and chased him. He went into the premises of Senate. They followed him there, caught him, and they were attempting to beat him up. So it took the intervention of the security, the police who were there to rescue this gentleman and take him away just before the protest started. So eventually the secretary of the regional secretary of the NDC, Donatus Akamugri, went on to explain that they did not intend causing any problem. So they did not want someone from a different party to come and pretend to be a member of the security just to spy on them. So basically that was how the scuffle happened.
Right, Albert, sorry there. Now to the northeast regional capital, Nalirugu, where hundreds also thronged major streets there, chanting, "No Mahama, no peace." Some of the party executives and supporters spoke to JoyNews.
Important day for us in office meeting. It is important because we're fighting for the ordinary Ghanaian. We're fighting for the choice of the ordinary Ghanaian. We're fighting for justice. We're fighting for fairness. That is what we want to do today in office meeting. We know very well that the current predicament of our democratic process is a source of worry for everybody. And we in Northeast region have decided to peacefully walk through the streets and go and present our petition to the EC and let them know that we are not happy with the current happenings in Ghana. It is all about the ordinary Ghanaian and the future of our democracy. If today it is NDC, tomorrow it could be a different party altogether.
And Mensa has declared a flawed election, and we have always said that we will never accept a flawed election. We believe in our democracy. Our forefathers toiled to build this democracy, and we cannot allow this democracy to be destroyed by Jane and that of Akufo-Addo. We are resisting it until the right thing is done. There cannot be peace. Peace, the president of peace is justice. If there's no justice, why would there be peace? But when there is justice, everywhere there will be peace. And that is the only thing we are seeking for. And when justice is done and peace prevails, John Dramani Mahama, the president-elect of this Republic of Ghana, shall reign, and democracy and development shall come back to the throne.
Not like people, don't kill them. But is a large people.
You want your mama and who?
And the
So there you saw some protesters and executives who thronged the streets of the Northeast region to protest what they call a flawed election. You may recall the NDC came out to reject the election results as declared by EC chairperson Jane Mensah. They claim it's flawed. They've raised a couple of issues about the presidential elections. You may also recall that there were issues during the declaration. We are told that the EC chairperson inadvertently made a mistake mentioning total votes cast as valid votes cast, and that created a bit of a problem. But the Electoral Commission came later to rectify that. The NDC cites this and many other seeming corrections as the reason why they do not trust that the election was declared. And now the visuals you're seeing now, a protest of Nalerugu, and those are on the streets of Nalerugu. We also know that there were some protests also in the Volta region. You see in your shots there what happened in the Volta region earlier today. So the NDC is continuing its protests across the country. Yesterday we brought you some, and this is what is happening today. We will touch base with our correspondents in those areas and bring you details. But while we wait for that, the United Front Party, UFP, has joined the National Democratic Congress to contest the results of the 2020 elections. Though it was denied opportunity to field a candidate during the election, the party says it followed the polls with keen interest. Founder Nana Adjei says their own collation of the pink sheets do not correspond with that of the Electoral Commission's figures. Lava FM's Nanaya Ojima was at a press conference of the party in Kumasi. Here's his report.
According to leadership of the UFP, their collation of results declared by the Electoral Commission after the election fails to put the New Patriotic Party in one-time victory. Nana Adjei explains.
If we add the total votes in Techiman South, example 1,280.18, it is clear indications President Akufo-Addo did not cross the 50+1 vote as required by the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. To be clear, President-elect by the Electoral Commission, on what basis did the Electoral Commission arrive at the 51.295%?
The leader of the party says the EC's admission of errors through the change of figures on the Commission's website is evidence of a flawed collation.
The evidence is clear that the Electoral Commission compromised the process, and we strongly believe the entire process of the 2020 presidential results declaration was staged and the verdict stolen for the President Akufo-Addo. If this is the kind of democracy we want to be practicing, then we are sorry. It might not end well for Ghanaians.
The UFP wants President Nana Akufo-Addo and his party, NPP, to open up for an auditing of the results.
Nana Akufo-Addo must apologize to the 30 million Ghanaians for the lies and deceptive nature of his speech delivered on 17th December 2020. The caption, "I am not going to preside over a fraudulent election," said by Nana. Now, what is happening? Nana Akufo-Addo is the president-select. He has been selected by Jemensa and some media. John Dramani Mahama is the president-elect by majority of Ghanaians.
From Kumasi for JoyNews, Nana Ojima reporting.
And the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs has condemned the shooting incident at the Tichiman South Collation Center that led to the death of 2 persons and injuring of others. The House, through its president, Pimapim Gyao Kabrese V, appealed to aggrieved parties to seek redress through legal means, adding the House is teaming up with stakeholders to bring a lasting solution to matters in that constituency. Correspondent Nasa Bitters more in this report.
The Bono East Regional House of Chiefs had, through its president Pimampim Yao Kagbese V, congratulated the people of the region for their participation in the just ended presidential and parliamentary elections.
Congratulate the entire people of Bono East region for coming out to exercise their democratic rights during the 7th of December 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. It is relevant to indicate that there are no winners and losers in these elections. It is Ghana that has carried the day, and we should be proud of it.
The House, however, condemned the political violence at the Tichiman South Collation Center that led to the death of 2 persons, leaving several others injured.
Even though there was a massive turnout, the House would like to condemn the unrest that led to an alleged shooting incident leading to loss of lives in the regional capital, Tichiman. The House shares its sympathy with the bereaved families that were faced with the untimely deaths.
Pimampim Yao Kagbese V called on aggrieved political parties to seek redress through laid-down procedures in order to maintain the peaceful atmosphere of the country.
The House is aware of the concerns of some political parties about the outcome of presidential and parliamentary elections results declared by the Electoral Commission, leading to numerous demonstrations by some members and supporters of some political parties. After the results were declared, this had created tension in the country, which is likely to damage a good image gained over the years. It is the wish of the House to inform all dissatisfied candidates or political parties to endeavor to seek redress by using the laid-down processes and procedure for the settlement of electoral disputes.
The House again assures that it is teaming up with other stakeholders to find a lasting solution to the outstanding issues.
It is prudent that all political parties leaders must also urge their supporters to remain calm and act within the confines of the electoral process. The House is hereby calling on all the people of Bono East region to remain calm whilst the House teams up with the other stakeholders to jojo for a possible solution to the misunderstanding issues. Together, we can make it.
Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Tichiman.
Away from election-related news, the Electricity Company of Ghana is blaming recent issues of debt on some of its prepaid meters on a reconciliation problem, but says the deductions are legitimate. In a statement, the company explains it's possible to have debts on the prepaid meters. Some officials of the utility company appeared on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM to provide some answers.
More customer education for you to understand how the system works. For this type of meter is a smart meter. When we say a smart prepayment meter, the issue is communication. We have money deposited into an account and the meter continues to work. So in some cases where there's a break in communication, the meter continues to work as a credit meter. And the day we come to the field and correct the communication issue, then it compares how much energy you have used as against the money you had deposited. Immediately it does that and finds out that, oh, you were supposed to only consume 200, but because of the break in communication, you've used more than 1,000 of your money.
Why should the break in communication now be my problem? Because now you're making me have to pay that money now before I get electricity. When through no fault of mine, but even if we admit that is a situation, why shouldn't you be, paying for the mistakes you've made?
There's value for every mistake. What I would say is that we are not penalizing customers for that. In view of that, customers that were supposed to have their advance payment, we would have got the money earlier. What happens is that in most cases, when this happens, even we schedule some payment terms.
Yes, we spread.
Something we should have received maybe 2 months earlier, we schedule it and we collect it even 8 or 10 months later. So in one way or the other, ECG, our revenue collection is affected because of this.
We deliver service to people.
Yes.
Like the telcos will do.
Yes.
If there's a major problem like this happening on my network,
yes,
how they appease me is not to say, Raymond, pay more. They actually rather, on the other side, say that we were wrong in the billing processes and this is what has happened. So this is how we compensate you. Why do you put the burden entirely on the consumer in this case, who's had no contribution at all to the problem?
Let's separate the two, as I keep on saying. You have consumed the electricity. The only thing is that you were supposed... No, the meter is there. That's why I indicated that we even have a channel where if you have a doubt about the accuracy of the measurement, we take our technical team from our meter lab to come with the instruments. You witness it yourself and we give you the information.
From one utility to another, it's been almost 6 months of free water to all since the outbreak of the coronavirus. But all too soon, the freebies will be over on the 31st of December, which is exactly 8 days away. The Ghana Water Company will cease the president's free water supply to all. And PRO Stanley Marty spoke to me earlier on News Desk.
Our billing cycle, our billing calendar, the last meter reading for this month, it could be tomorrow, it could be the day after, depending on where you live, the district, and when the meter reader will be in your property or your premises to read the meter. So any moment from now, when the last meter reading is done for December, then that marks the end of the free water for you.
Okay.
So some may get additional days, some may get additional 2 days. But we are hoping that the last meter will be read on 31st December, and then that marks the end of everything. A person may get additional day or 2 for free, but the last meter reading will have to be done on or before 31st of December. So the water tanker services will actually end on the 31st of December. What we have to note is that we send the bills to the government for payment. And beyond the 31st of December, government will not be paying again. So we'll still be supplying the free water with our tankers into the reservoirs that we mount within the community. We're still serving those tankers for free. But then, after 31st, it will not be for free again.
Now, government has placed a ban on the recruitment of new management personnel and contractual applications on roads and work services. This is to aid the smooth transition from one administration to the other. Speaking earlier on a briefing on the transition team's work, Deputy Information Minister Pius Hatide also announced a new venue for the swearing-in ceremony for the president-elect.
When His Excellency President Akufo-Addo commissioned the office facilities under the physical infrastructure projects of Parliament in Parliament House, Accra, Parliament made a passionate representation to him and the nation at large that they wanted subsequent swearing-in of presidents of the Republic to happen in Parliament and before Parliament in accordance with Ghanaian laws and international best practices. Please take a listen to the Leader of the House, Honorable Osei Mensah-Bonsu.
Is the matter in respect of the swearing-in of presidents-elect. Members of Parliament are united in the principle that an elected president must be sworn in the presence of Parliament, before Parliament, and indeed in Parliament, as the Honourable J.H. Mensah boldly articulated. The Ghanaian electorate always want to be part of and indeed own the process and procedures of the swearing-in of our presidents-elect. The space afforded by the small chamber of Parliament makes it difficult to hold the event in the plenary of Parliament, which is why, conveniently, Parliament elects to sit at the Independence Square on such occasions. On that 7th day of January, the election of the Speaker and Deputy Speakers and the swearing-in of members of Parliament have to be concluded before Parliament would relocate to the Independence Square to have the President-elect sworn in before the relocated House of Parliament. It is hard to relate that oftentimes, before the sitting is suspended for the House to reconvene at the Independence Square, the public would have generally taken over the sitting of the relocated Parliament. In the event, Parliament, the members are dislodged from what is supposed to be their own house.
The transition team has favorably considered the request of the Parliament of Ghana, as stated by Honorable Osei Mensah-Bonsu, and has hence decided that the swearing of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on the 7th of January 2021 shall happen before Parliament and within the precincts of Parliament. The inauguration subcommittee of the 2020 presidential transition team is therefore working with Parliament to ensure a successful and COVID-compliant inauguration.
Let's stay with the Information Ministry. The Minister there, Kojo Nkrumah, is urging Ghanaians not to patronize outlets that have been designated as high-risk areas like beaches, pubs and cinemas if they are illegally operating. President Akufo-Addo, in his 20th COVID-19 update to the nation, maintained that beaches, pubs, cinemas remain closed. Speaking at a press briefing Tuesday morning, Mr. Nkrumah urged security agencies to take action against such public spaces that are still operating in spite of the President's executive instrument banning their operation.
I think, first of all, we should shift from this attitude of, if you don't police us, we'll do the wrong thing. All of us have a responsibility to protect ourselves and to protect one another in these times. And the attitude that if you don't police us, we'll do the wrong thing, so what are you doing to police us, is something that we all need to gradually shift from. We have a personal responsibility to ensure that if we have been advised by the health experts that these are high-risk areas, protocols for protection have not been adequately provided for in these places, therefore they remain closed, do not attend to them, you owe it to yourself not to patronize these places as a first step. Persons who operate such places have a responsibility to ensure that once this is given.
Now, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boadi, reiterated President Akufo-Addo's statement the country is working towards securing a vaccine. He added they're also designing criteria for the vaccination process.
The vaccine, like I mentioned, is all about the safety and effectiveness. And so that's why we said that is the responsibility of the Food and Drugs Authority. Whatever they register meets the full standard of safety and the quality we will do. Of course, there are other them to do that. Now, the committee working on the criteria is still working, and when they finish, we'll share with you. But of course, the key criteria will be who are most at risk. What are we going to do with the people who are more likely to die because they have comorbidity? Who are the people who are most exposed to the virus? And these are the one that is going to be the criteria.
Apologies in the hitches there. Let's move on to some other stories. Authorities at the Okomfo Teaching Hospital are worried about the rise in cases in childhood leukemia or blood cancer. Specialist pediatrician at the Pediatric Oncology Unit, Dr. Yvonne Addo, says the disease has overtaken Burkitt lymphoma, topped the charts at the unit. She says the unit recorded close to 30 new cases as of August this year.
Leukemia is the most common childhood cancer, accounting for 29% of cancers in children aged 0 to 14 in 2018. Survival rates vary depending on the type of leukemia, but may be as high as 90%. Leukemia is a cancer of the blood. It develops in the soft inner parts of bones where new blood cells are made, known as the bone marrow. When a child has leukemia, the bone marrow produces white blood cells that do not mature correctly. Common childhood leukemia signs and symptoms include excessive tiredness, easy bruising or bleeding, bone pain and paleness. Dr. Yvonne Addo was worried the treatment puts financial burden on parents. She believes roping it onto the National Health Insurance Scheme will go a long way to improve survival of victims.
There are different types of cancers. You asked about the highest cases that we have, and the highest ones are the lymphomas, the non-Hodgkin's lymphomas, which have been the highest for years. And currently we are seeing a very huge rise in the leukemias. And those, the leukemias, they are cost intensive to treat, okay? And it comes with a lot of, the need for a lot of supportive care, like blood and all manner of things, medications and everything. And these are children. Some of the parents have to sell their properties actually to bring their children to the clinic. And sometimes that causes the delay, okay? So if the government can help us by putting these childhood cancers on insurance, it will help a lot, you know, because like I said before, the childhood cancers, the cure rate outside is 85%, and in Africa it's 15%. And if we say we are a developing country, I think we should be trying to catch up with our compatriots out there.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Chief of Staff and now elected Member of Parliament for the Bantama constituency, Francis Asenso Boakye, has donated a salt.
We apologize for the abrupt end in that story. You're watching News Today with me, Benis Abubedulansa. And what will be your place of shopping this Christmas? And why? Well, we've got some news for you on this coming up shortly in business. Hello, welcome to the business segment here on JoyNews today. And where will you be shopping this Christmas and why? Will it be at the mall or the local market center? Well, the Joy Business team set out to interact with some Christmas shoppers. Yes, more.
I prefer shopping here, although there are many people in town, but here is better than going to the mall. It's open because of the cost, and here too is open. Mall is more crowded. Here is crowded, but mall is more crowded than here. And here too the open space. So the air, you can feel the fresh air and everything.
Any of them is okay, but yeah, any of them.
But if I'm to give you money, which one will you go?
All right, I'll buy it in the market.
Why?
Because the price is a little low comparing to the mall size. So like I think here is okay.
I think the mall is better. I was suffocating in there, so I had to go back home. You can see this all I got at the moment. The whole place is so choked, so much choked. So I'm just going back home. I can't. In this COVID era with that kind of human traffic, I can't. So I'm just going back home. I think the mall will be much better. Thank you very much. Probably I'll come early in the morning, very early in the morning to do the shopping. I think by then the place wouldn't be like this. The crowd wouldn't have started.
Well, I'm sure you're weighing your options to consider which will be best for you. That's if you've not already done your Christmas shopping. Away from that, leading insurance intermediary in Ghana, KEK Insurance Brokers Limited, has rebranded as part of plans to improve its market offering. After more than 30 years of providing insurance solutions to clients, the company says the new phase has become necessary partly due to lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic on the need to improve its digital services. There's more in the following report.
The KEK corporate rebranding launch brought together key players in the insurance industry, including managing directors of various insurance companies, industry associations, the National Insurance Commission, among others. According to the managing director of KEK Insurance Brokers Limited, Shaibu Ali, the new logo is part of the company's plans of improved service delivery for the next 30 years.
This will determine the packaging and presentation of key things like the company logo. We at KEK believe that after 30 years in existence, our logo is matured and needs a new lease of life to take us to the next stage. This new stage that we are entering is a stage where insurance cannot be done as we are doing now.
In an interview with Joy Business, Mr. Ali said COVID-19 has re-emphasized the need for digitization taking the center stage with regards to the purchase and sale of insurance products.
Digitalization. COVID has pushed us to digitalize. Like I've said on countless occasions, we were all thinking about it, but we didn't think that it is here. But because of COVID, we have had to start it. So we at KEK, we decided to run with it. Going forward, all personal lines is going to be digitalized. Your personal car, your personal house, your travel insurance, you don't need to come to the office. You can just do it on our app. If you have a claim, you can report it on our app. We are taking away that. We are leaving only the big commercial businesses where we keep the personal interface, but for all others, we are strictly digitalizing them.
Deputy Commissioner of Insurance at the National Insurance Commission, Michael Kofi Ando, proud to unveiling the new logo, hinted of plans the Commission is putting in place to grow the gross premium income of the industry from the current 3.8 billion cedis to 10 billion cedis in the next 3 years.
The main areas of focus for the expected growth include marine insurance, annuities, and group life. In pursuit of the above, the NIC will sign a tripartite cargo insurance protocol with the Ghana Shippers Authority and the Ghana Revenue Authority to facilitate effective enforcement of Section 37 of the Insurance Act, which requires all goods being imported into Ghana to be insured in Ghana. This is expected to significantly boost growth in the marine insurance sector.
Key associations in the industry such as the Ghana Insurers Association, the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana, and the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana took turns to share their solidarity messages with KK Insurance Brokers Limited.
And that'll be all for business here on JoyNews today. Coming up, the man who's got love for sports, Nathaniel Atto, brings you sports news.
Well, thank you for staying with us here on JoyNews today. It's time for a big dose of sport. And the former vice president of the Ghana Football Association, George Afriyie, is accusing the leadership of the current FA of being selective in their handling of players who merit national team call-ups. According to him, a player was sent home because he plays for his football club.
Many have accused the leadership of the Ghana Football Association of being selective. Recently, a club official accused the technical team of the Black Satellites of refusing to play his player Salim Mohammed because he campaigned for George Afriyie in the 2019 GFA elections. George Afriyie corroborated the allegations leveled against the technical team by Yakub Abdul Salam, claiming that his player was asked to go home despite reporting to camp.
Let's see what Coach Karim Zito did. He first invited, I think, 140 players, if I'm right. I may be wrong. It was 70. Okay. Then I hear some Division 1 clubs were making noise. So the coach decided to extend invitation to all the Division 1 clubs. So you know what they did? They will call you and ask you to bring one player. They call the Division 1. I'm saying this as a matter of fact. They will call a Division 1 club and ask you that bring one player to the camp. So I was there when I had a call from my administrative officer that, assistant coach of the under-20 has called that they should bring one player. I said, tell him to call the coach of my team. He shouldn't call me. He should call the coach of my team. He shouldn't call me. He should call the coach of my team. And then the guy came back and said, they don't know the number. I said, provide the phone number of the under-20 coach of my team to the coach. So the guy then finally gave them one player. And incidentally, the player comes from Wa. He's one of the best players in my team. He's called Haji, was Osman Haji from Wa. He's called Osman Haji from Wa. So I said, do you know that when the boy got to the camp, traveled all the way and got to the camp, they told him that they finished what we call COVID, so he should go back. And guess what I told my administrative officer? When he called me, I said, forget it. You shouldn't call any player. If they cannot deal with the coach, you don't do it. But the guy went behind me and still sent the boy. I said, look, if you send the boy, they'll send him back because it's George. He didn't believe me. So he sent the boy, they sent him back. This happened here. But I've never talked about it before. Have you ever heard me or any member of my team complaining about this? But this thing happened.
Well, a very vocal former vice president of the FA there, but vice chairman of the Black Satellites Management Committee, Albert Comey, has denied his allegations. Let's take a listen to him.
It's unfounded because, yes, they called his player, but the player reported late. And because the player could not do the COVID test, they couldn't admit the player to the camp. That's different from not being called at all. Because they called players to camp, and later we decided that they should consider Division 1s, which of course some of them came, others did not come early, and those who did not come early and they couldn't do the COVID test were sent back. It's not only one person. So I had an allegation, but let me tell you something, that we are focused. We don't want to look at some of these things and then go back. But I want to assure Mr. George Afriyie that we are looking for players for Ghana. And it doesn't matter which team the player places. We'll give the player opportunity to play.
All right, that's it for sport for now, but there is more when I bring you sports today at exactly 2 p.m. right here on this channel. And of course, coming up very shortly will be World News, where U.S. President Donald Trump is urging Congress to amend the $900 billion coronavirus relief bill. More later on. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.